Who do we got? Hey, Sebastian. Nice to see you so early. We don't normally see you, sorry, this early in the morning. Kat says, like done. Good morning, friends. Good morning, beautiful Yogi. Me? Well, you're going to make me blush, Kat. Kat says, hey to Sebastian. All right. I'm a little late. It's 5:04. That's an ad. Some people say they see ads and some people say they don't. Mary says she doesn't see any ads on any of the shorts that I do. That's where I'm hoping people do see ads. Um, Here he comes walking down the street. Yogi's making friends with everyone he meets. Hey, it's the Yogi. He's too busy loving to put anyone down. Well, that song's going to be running through my head all day. Thank you for that, Kat. I saw the Monkees in concert. Don't remember if it had Michael Nesmith or not, because he um, was trying to move away from the Monkees for a long time. He was my favorite Monkee. He wrote the song that was made famous by Linda Ronstadt and the Stone Ponies, Different Drum. He has a wonderful, and it was a country song, wonderful version. If you YouTube Michael Nesmith and Different Drum, you'll hear it. Love that version. So, yeah, I'm a little late. Going to talk for about 25 minutes ish. And I'm going to get out and take a walk. I need to make sure that I hold the morning live streams short because the sun is coming up earlier and earlier. Soon I'm going to switch my breakfast around so that I extend my fast a little bit. I stop eating at 4 o'clock. Don't eat again until I guess it's about 4:30ish the next day. Used to fast 20 hours a day, sometimes 22. But that can be good in some ways, but it can also lead to some issues in other ways, and it led to some issues. It took me a long time to correct those issues. Problem was trying to get as many calories as I needed and still train to run 100-mile races, 24-hour races, 50-mile races, 50Ks. It's possible, but you know what? You make these little exceptions to your health, or in order to achieve a goal, not necessarily the best for your body. So we live, we learn. Anyway, so I want to get outside. It's supposed to be raining this morning. However, I don't think a beaver's going to mind the rain, do you? They're in water anyway. But what do I know? I'm not a beaverologist. It's a scientific term for someone who deeply knows the ways of beavers. I'm an amateur beaverologist. All right. I've made no sense at all this morning. That's okay. Let's go to lesson 100. And we're going to talk about lesson 101. Lesson 101 is one of the most famous lessons in A Course in Miracles. But before we get there, let's start with lesson 1. We're not going to work all the way through. Lesson 1 has us look around and say, nothing I see means anything. From lesson 1 to, really lesson like 25 or so, it's a path of negation, meaning we're negating everything we see. We're negating everything we touch. We're negating everything we feel. We're negating everything we think. Stripping it means nothing. We do this so we get rid of the false narrative that we've been telling ourselves forever, literally forever, since the dawn of time. Since that little inkling of time appeared within eternity. A great line in the text that, do you really believe that time could circumvent eternity? Do you really believe that time has a place within eternity? It's an illusion. If it's eternity, there can't possibly be time. That's my answer for anyone They stop me on the street and say, "Hey, sir, pardon me, do you know what time it is?" And I would look them in the eye and say, "Time. Time's an illusion. Time can never creep in and um, circumvent eternity. If you say that enough times, sooner or later, no one's ever going to ask you what time it is." And anyway, so we want to negate all that. Eventually, we're starting to negate our thoughts because we are essentially minds. We're not bodies. We're going to get to that part too. We have somehow though believe that we are an appearance within eternity. We believe that we are a body entrapped, separate body. You got a separate body over there. That's just a thought. It's just a story that we tell. In the absence of that story, who are we? This is why the Course takes away all those thoughts. This is the great, in the yogic Vedic tradition, the neti neti meditation. Neti means not this. So it's a form of self-inquiry where we ask, who am I? And any answer that appears, we investigate and we dismiss. So if I ask myself, who am I? And I say, I am Eric McCarty. Am I? What if my parents named me Bob Smith? Who would I be? It can't be a name. A name's just a label. So I might say, well, I'm a yogi. I give myself another identity. Nope, that's just something that I do, something that I think. So I'm my thoughts. If it's something that I think, no, thoughts are always changing. If I was very clever, I could change your mind about anything, right? Hey, Miss Flipper. So I'm negating, netting, not this, not this. Until I get to the great cosmic shrug. I don't know. I don't know who I am. Now we're getting somewhere. Now, in yoga, maybe they would leave it there. The great I don't know. In Zen, they say you may as well start with that don't know mind because that's where you're going to end up. But A Course in Miracles takes it a step farther. And when we're stripped bare to the essential nothingness of reality itself, now they begin to add an understanding of that nothingness. That nothingness is all allowing, all encompassing, and all manifesting. So everything springs from that essential nothingness. If everything springs from that essential nothingness, it must spring from a source of love, because love is all allowing. Beautiful description of love. Maybe the most beautiful thing, and maybe one of the most honest things written in the entirety of the New Testament, the entire Bible. St. Paul's letters to the Corinthians too. So after we have been stripped bare, the Course starts to add. We've taken away the body, we've taken away our thoughts. Lesson 15 says, my thoughts are images that I have made. Everything that we see is an image. It also takes away what others think. That I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. Lesson 23, we're starting to get somewhere. I can escape from the world that I see by giving up attack thoughts. In the absence of an attack thought, where are we? What are we? But it's when we start getting to lesson 33, thereabouts. We can go lesson 31. We can go to lesson 29. Maybe even 28. I want to, well, 27. I want to see things differently. Above all else, I want to see things differently. 28, 29. Now we're starting to really put things into place. God is in everything I see. The Redeemer says, of is a verb, not just a noun. Agreed. We are verbs. We're not a noun. We're verbing our way through life. Nice to see you, Redeemer, my friend. Lesson 30. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. God is the mind. We are literally an appearance within the mind of God, a thought within the mind of God. So if we are in the mind of God, if God is holiness itself, then I am very holy. Lesson 35, we're going to skip all the way out to what I was talking about. Lesson 101, my part is essential to God's plan of salvation. This is why do not take yourself for granted, my friends. Hello, my friend. Let me bring up the desktop as I can't quite read that name. I'm Socks. Did I get that right? I'm Socks. Hey, Socks. Nice to see you. So, man, what awesome news. You, my verbing friend, are essential to God's plan. Me too. My part is essential in God's plan for salvation. Do you know why? Because without you, there would be no anything. We always go back to Ramana Maharshi's great answer when he was asked, how do we treat others? And he said, there are no others. We got here what our friend the Redeemer said, verbs, love being a verb. We are love, meaning that we are a verb. In the absence of a noun, there are no others. We're just verbing along together. And there can never be a my verb versus your verb. So anyway, one of the most famous lessons, 101. This is what I've been working towards. I took a really long time to get there. But here we are. God's will for me is perfect happiness. Hey, Skits. Hey, Sniper. Grand Risings, Eric, and all Grand Risings to you, my friend. God's will for me and you is perfect happiness. Say that 1,000 times today. Literally. God's will for Skits is perfect happiness. God's will for Cat is perfect happiness. God's will for Redeemer is perfect happiness. Meaning anything that you are experiencing that is not perfect happiness is not of God. If it's not of God, it can only be an illusion because God is everything. Reality. Love. Do you want to be stuck experiencing an illusion? And it's okay if you are. Just know that you're experiencing an illusion. And that brings a great sense of relief. Just knowing, I'm caught up in an illusion. Can't walk out. Because I love you too much, baby. Yes, I'm singing Elvis Presley, and no one even knows it. Quoting the great Elvis Presley. As if you thought that our live streams could not get any weirder, we take a turn towards the left. If sin is real, then happiness must be an illusion, for they cannot both be true. If you experience anything that seems like sin, if you think you're being punished for something, then guess what? You are not experiencing God's will for perfect happiness. If you are not experiencing perfect happiness, now, here's the thing. I heard Kat mention this morning in her live stream. If you are looking around the world and you see a world, you're in the illusion. That's okay. Just know that you're in the illusion. Don't get upset. Man, I'm stuck in an illusion. I woke up in an illusion. I woke up from a dream to a dream. It's just the way it is. Eventually, we all wake up, but we wake up together. Or we don't wake up at all. In the meantime, take some hope here, guys. We can, individually and collectively, in truth, there's no individually, we can begin to dream a happier dream. This life, right now, we can begin to dream a happier dream. Why don't we do that together? A happier dream is one in which, one, we know we are within the illusion and that it is an illusion, and that anything that I'm experiencing that is not absolute love, that is not the perfect happiness of God, is the illusion. And I can choose to love. Choosing to love means knowing that I'm in the illusion and forgiving it. I heard Kat say that this morning too. Kat was on point. Kat was on fire. Kat was being Kat, which is pretty awesome. Miss Pippa says, love is a noun. A verb can take adjective and adverb forms and can take a progressive form. It's above and beyond grammatical limitations. I agree with the last part. The reason why I don't agree with everything above that is because it's too much grammar for my 5 a.m. in the morning mind to comprehend. I think if I was in a more grammatical point of understanding, I would probably shake my head yes, nod my head yes. We shake no, we nod yes, making myself dizzy. With Miss Flipper. Reader says, love or focus, focus, focus. Miss Flipper, did that hit the bullseye or was I just outside the bullseye? Yogi, dreamy. Cat is dreaming a happier dream, seeing the beautiful creations around us, even in the illusion. Yes, when we see beauty, we're seeing reality. We can see reality within the illusion. Dreaming a happier dream is when we are happier. That true happiness, a happiness without condition. This is where developing a holy relationship is dreaming a happier dream, meaning that my relationships serve not to make me happy, but to express happiness within the illusion. Meaning that a special relationship is when I loved you, but now I'm wavering on that love. You made me happy, but now you're no longer making me happy, so my love for you is less. That I thought this new car was going to bring me a lasting joy and happiness, but I got a scratch on it. This new job is not bringing me the fulfillment, or it is bringing me fulfillment. A new job should never bring you fulfillment. It should just be a new job. Doesn't mean that you don't absolutely love it and feel like you're serving a purpose doing it. But even the best of job is subject to being lost. If it can be lost, if it can be destroyed, then it's an illusion, right? What did Philip K. Dick have to say about reality? That reality is that which, let's look it up. It's been a while since I read Philip K. Dick. I had our friend Paul from Oregon, the great burpee practitioner. Doesn't really do a whole lot of burpees anymore. Got me to read Philip K. Dick last year. I read him quite a bit when I was young. Reality is that which, when you stop believing in it, doesn't go away. Where are we time-wise? Got a few minutes. A few more minutes. I love my morning talks with you guys. Hey, Alien Frog King is here. How are you, my friend? Speaking of great burpee practitioners, perhaps one of the all-time greats doesn't do a whole lot of burpees either anymore. Man, a whole lot of the old-time burpee people just aren't doing burpees. They still put them in, it's just not the bedrock. Really, the burpee world flourished during the COVID shutdown. Gyms were closed. Everyone was looking for a way of getting in shape, staying in shape. Nice to see you, Frog King. And hey, Reinhardt, how are you? The Reinhardt's here. Says, good morning, brother Eric. Good morning, the Reinhardts. Nice to see you. Miss Pippa says, I bless you, brother, with the love of God. To Squirrel, or as she calls him, Chipmunk. Skit says, get ready for a Friday, Eric, brother. Skits, what do I need to do to prepare myself? Should I immerse myself in thoughts of peace? Should I? You let me know. Yep, Frogking says absolutely a COVID phenomenon. You know what? That was such a glimmer of light for me in that dark time. Um, it was dark for everyone. Personally, for me, um, you know, I lost my business. I lost my car. Uh, that I couldn't do one of the things I loved doing, which was running races, long endurance races. My father was dying of congestive heart failure. Just it was like I said, it was a dark time for so many people. And man, talk about thoughts of separation. It definitely began creeping in. All I wanted to do was keep my father safe, and it seemed like it was the hardest thing in the world to do. My one vow was my father was not going to die of COVID. He was not going to die in a hospital, separated from the ones that he loved. That I, if I could keep everyone at bay and just protect him, I would, because he would and had done the same for me throughout my entire life. Um, I'm happy that I was able to keep that promise, but it felt like I had to push the world away. Not a great experience. Not a great experience for someone who just wanted to love everything and everyone. There was that little split, that dichotomy that I still feel like I'm healing. Um, there's my metaphorical toe against the gate, Cat. Um, so, um, Frog King says, trying for more skulls based stuff these days. I love watching your stuff. Just so smooth. Yep, and I am back to kettlebells. I'm still on a streak. I've still done burpees for like 1,400 days in a row, but now I do like 10 burpees to warm up. Yesterday I did 25 burpees and some pull-ups on my off day. It's not the focus. Decades ago, kettlebells were my big focus, and then ultra running came in. Ultra running was a huge focus. Kettlebells took a side. Kettlebells took a side again, as did ultra running for burpees. Kettlebells are back in. Fluidity. Miss Pippa says, which I would share with you. 4. I would learn the joyous lessons I wrote about joy this morning. That when there is no love but God's, and yours and mine's and everyone's. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Flipper. Miss Flipper is a long time, decades long student of A Course in Miracles, as well as a practitioner of Kabbalah and other mystical arts, as is our friend Squirrel Sniper, uh, very much a practitioner of the mystical arts. Frog King says, Squirrel, lots of fitness interests. People started to do daily burpees based workouts. Yep. Got so Alien Frog King, are you my Prince Charming? Only one way to find out. Come to save me from the illusion. What happened? How did who was it? Who was it that had to kiss the frog? Only one way to find out. I don't think Mrs. Frog King, the Frog Queen, she might not even appreciate being called a Frog Queen, by the way. There is no love. My today's lesson, there is no love but God's. I love the simplicity when we get to it. Dream a dream, I said to I hates me. No one can hate the squirrel sniffer. I love the simplicity of the course, but it doesn't seem simple. But it sums everything up at the very beginning in the introduction. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. If you are experiencing something that can be threatened, it's an illusion. Illusions can be stubborn, as we talked about, uh, stubbing my toe on this desk. This desk is actually an illusion. It's not even a desk. If I take it apart, it's parts of a desk. If I examine those parts with a nuclear microscope, right, I come to nothingness itself, space between particles. Is this desk particle or is it the space? It's both, depending on perception. But in and of itself, it's not a desk. And yet, a couple times a week, not even metaphorically, I stub my toe on the desk. Stupid desk. Um, Not very kind of me. I always talk every day. Be kind and be kind to everything. Be kind to your desk. Be kind to your fingers. Be kind to your thoughts. Be kind to everything you experience. Because kindness is a means of circumnavigating the ego. Ego is not good or bad, it just doesn't exist. It's a false belief. Um, an acronym, ego, edging God out. Native American story, one of my faves. Which one is this? Reinhardt says, me and my husband, Jack, both watch Eric's channel. We support all of you. Thank you so much, the Reinhardts. Okay, said Cat and Jack, sadly. Almost certainly not. There's only one way to find out. Hey, Teddy. Teddy says, subscribe to you, the Reinhardt's channel. I will probably see Teddy in 15 minutes or so. 20 minutes maybe. She'll be out looking at owls, maybe a beaver, probably some deer, hopefully a fox. And I don't know why all my raccoons and possums are eluding me these days. It's been probably a year since I've seen a raccoon. It's been several months since I've seen a possum, and that was just by circumstance, guys. Frog King says, unfortunately, time and energy is limited, so we have to do what makes us happiest and most productive at this time. Agreed. For me, kettlebells gives me the most bang for the bucks. Nice to see you, Teddy. All right, so we're going to wrap things up. There's a magic frog. Gotta love a magic frog. All frogs are a little magical, aren't they? I got some great clips of a frog 1 or 2 weeks ago. Story of a jumping mouse. I'll have to look for that. Hey, Signature, how are you, my friend? Nice to see you. Raven, nice to see you too. Sorry, guys, my back itches just outside of my reach. You ever wonder how difficult it was for life as a T-Rex if their back itched? However, who's to say there wasn't cooperation between other T-Rexes? We could say that in the dinosaur realm, hell was one dinosaur alone with an itchy back, one T-Rex alone with an itchy back. But heaven, were the presence of another T-Rex willing to scratch that itch. Cat says, bye, Yogi. Thank you. I love you. I love you too, Cat. Hey, Phoenix. Dolly's here. Saying hi to everyone. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Remember to smile and spread good vibes. No one does that better than our friend Skits. Cat says, bye, friends. Cat, you still off? Are you still off today? Or are you going back to work? Frog King says, I found a pond full of toads mating. That's what I saw 2 weeks ago. In hindsight, it was a bit rude to stare for 20 minutes. I'm sure they didn't mind. They were pretty engrossed in what they were doing. Raven at Sniper. Hey, Frog King, even worse for me, I filmed it and posted it on YouTube. Dolly says, Yogi, peace and love. You too. Good morning, blessings. Thank you, Dolly. All right, guys. 5:33. I'm heading out. I got to put some shoes on. Frog King is laughing. Nah, Frog King, I hadn't thought about it. Now I feel guilty for doing so. Put your feet in the grass. I will do so. Thank you. Uh, Frog King said that's pretty sus, Eric. Well, here's the question: what's more so, me posting it or people looking at it and hitting the thumbs up? Which is worse? Raven says, then smoke it. Let's see. Oh, awesome. Cat is off. That means I get to hang out with you today. Reinhardt says, man, thank you so much for the subs. Reinhardt channel, you're awesome. Reinhardt's, you're absolutely right. We got some awesome people showing up here. I hope everyone does subscribe to each other. Guys, if you want to see some really, we're talking magic, if you want to see some magical movement, Alien Frog King, no one moves like him. It's, I used the term earlier, not for him, but for something different, but it applies to him. Fluidity. No one moves like the Alien Frog King, aka Hybrid Jim, aka Barefoot Burpees. It's been Frog King. How long have we been friends? 2 years, maybe more. Since back in the burpee days. Even though he is calling me out on my filming frog sex, frog voyeurism. Frog King says, too kind, Eric, probably 3 years. Frog King says, man, you and these philosophical puzzles. Hey, when I'm filming it, I'm just giving the people what they want. Phoenix says, Alien Frog King, barefoot burpees. But seriously, Frog King says, zoological studies. Yes, for me, it was all science. What you guys do with that science is entirely up to you. I was going to say, but seriously, go watch. Go just pick any random video of the Frog King, and you're going to be impressed. And while you're at it, make sure you check out Paul from Oregon, another old-time burpee practitioner doing other stuff now. He was greatly inspired by the Frog King, which is why he's doing the workouts he's doing now. Check out the Reverend Terminator, who loves to offer tributes to both Paul from Oregon and the Frog King. As a matter of fact, if you listen to the theme song for Frog King, it's from Reverend Terminator. Once, maybe twice, maybe a few times, I was featured on Reverend Terminator's big wall of inspiration, my workouts, back in the burpee days. All right, guys, I'm going to go outside. Wish me luck. If you recall what I filmed yesterday, I did not see a beaver or a fox. However, I saw a blue heron. See blue herons pretty frequently. Here's the key to filming nature. You never know what nature's going to do. Never think of it as, I've seen blue heron. I just saw blue heron yesterday. 2 days in a row, right? However, when I looked closer, blue heron had a snake in its mouth, which I filmed. I gotta admit, I was rooting a bit for the snake, even though that meant the blue heron would go hungry. We pick our sides, guys. And there was a moment, I have this film too, when the blue heron put the snake down. The snake was just faking it and started sliding back in the water. You could see this glint of hope in its eyes, only for the blue heron to just say, nope, pick it back up. In the end, who knows? I didn't film everything. I don't know. Maybe the snake got away. Maybe they reached a compromise. Maybe the snake ratted out other snakes and says, hey, you don't want me. There's 6 other snakes over there. I don't know what a snake would do. Miss Pippa says, sheesh, I was rooting for the blue heron. Like I said, we all pick these sides. It's not that I want the blue heron to go hungry. I just want the snake. I just want the snake to live. It was the vegan in me rooting for the snake. In the end, I was thinking, you know what, blue heron, let's you and I just make a really large salad. um, Aiden says, something to circle of life. Something will certainly eat that heron eventually. This is true. Frog King says, Reverend compares you to the great Yoda himself. High praise. High praise indeed. Kettlebell kinesiology. I like that. I like that. All right. So anyway, the lesson was never presume to know what nature is going to offer you. Wait and see. Miss Pippa says blue heron wants to and it's salad. Probably so. Redeemer says, go out and make it a great day. Thank you, Redeemer. You too, my friend. Thank you so much. Always appreciate you being here. Love to you all. I'm going to see everyone later. Frog King says, I'm off. Good to hear it. And friends. Thank you, Frog King. Always appreciate you being here. Raven says, so does Squirrel. All right, guys. Thank you. See you, Miss Pepper. AMS says, what's the stream about? Right now, it is about the great big goodbye. Come on back this afternoon if you'd like, and we'll figure out what that stream is about when we get to it. Thanks, guys.